All right, what is up, everybody? We are back here with another live stream here from compileswift.com. This time around, I'm going to be doing some UI testing. We're going to have fun recording some UI tests here using some. We're going to try it with the simulator first of all, and if that doesn't work out so good, I'm going to go ahead and use my device here. But the goal here, what we're going to be doing is recording some automated tests. I've got some that I've done here previously. We're going to see if these will run in the simulator for us. And the idea is that we want to test our application here. This one that I've written over here. We want to automate some of the testing, going through doing some of the UI stuff, not only so it's consistent when it runs the test, but it also saves me the trouble of having to do it manually every time. So that's the goal. Hope you're all having a good weekend. I'm getting ready here for a Monday morning like many of you, I'm sure. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to make sure we got some things set up here. Looks like the video's good. Want to check the audio as well. I think everything's looking good here. Okay. All right. Feel free to ask questions and we will get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by running some of the tests here. And we'll go through these if you're not familiar with them. Got some UI tests we're going to record in Xcode. Using Xcode 13 for this, doesn't really matter. It was the same in 12 for what we're doing here today anyway. And I've got a couple of tests. So let's run through these for those of you that don't know. Hey, Coco type. Don't know if you changed your settings or anything, but Twitch says your stream isn't supported in Safari or the native iOS apps anymore. I didn't change anything, no. So I wonder, are you using Safari 15? I haven't tried it in Safari 15. I'm not liking Safari 15. Interesting. Don't know why it's doing that. Are you doing it are you watching it via Twitch or are you watching it via YouTube? Let's see if I can pull it up here. Oh, I see. I keep doing it. Keep clicking on that tab like it's a URL bar. Oh, this might cause some horrible infinite recursion in the screen here, but let's see. You're using Twitch. Hey, Nick. Hey, Nicholas. How you doing, buddy? It seems to work fine in Microsoft Edge of all things, but Safari just gives me an error. Hey, maybe that's a Safari 15 thing. Hey, Josh, how you doing, buddy? That may be a new Safari 15 thing. I don't think I've used Safari 15 to watch anything on Twitch yet. Oh, it's coming up here for me. That's interesting. Let's keep an eye on it, Coco type. You may be my tester for that because I have not seen that happen yet, but we'll see what happens. All right, let's keep going. So, Coco, are you seeing it at all, or is it just saying, hey, it's a bit weird? How's everyone doing? How you doing, Nick? How you doing, everybody? Safari 15, but it's also the native Twitch iOS apps that are broken too. Well, let's think about it. I wonder if the native Twitch iOS apps would be using the Safari engine, which would be Safari 15 on iOS devices, right? This video is either unavailable or not supported in this browser. Error 4000. Ooh, weird. Haven't seen that. Don't know, buddy. Let's have a look. You know what? Let's try this. It came up for me here. Let's try yours. Do a little bit of live debugging here. Not seeing anything. Yeah, I'm actually using Streamlabs, which is really OBS with some tweaks. Don't know. Didn't change any OBS settings. iOS 15 here. Twitch iOS app is working fine for you. Okay, well, that's weird. So it's working good for Josh. It's just weirdness on my end. Oh, you're not derailing it at all. Don't worry. If anything, you've almost kind of hit the nail on the head for my top, for what I've been dealing with all week, which is, you know, I got iOS 15 on all my devices now. In fact, yesterday I took delivery, or was it Friday, of my new, I'm replacing my iPad Pro with the new one. So I traded it in and got the, I've got it off to the left here, the new M1 iPad Pro. And so I've been setting that up. Screen is gorgeous, by the way, but I have been dealing with a lot of, that's weird, all week with iOS 15 on my phone, on my iPad. So nothing surprises me at this point. I think I even mentioned somewhere along the way that I've ditched Safari at this point, of all things, because that new tab system infuriates the heck out of me. And I think I even said on Twitter, and I know some of you replied, how many people keep clicking on the Safari tab because they think it's a URL bar? Yeah, I'm still doing that. So it got to the point where I was like, forget it, I'm going to use the Brave browser. So that's how my week's gone. Love to hear in the chat how you've all been dealing with the new iOS and iPad OS. WatchOS and tvOS are always fine because they are what they are. Xcode 13 has been a bit weird. We're going to see how it deals today with the testing. Going to do some automated testing here, but everybody chime in. Nicholas knows I'm so annoyed with Safari. Tell us what's annoying you with you. Is it just the tabs or is it other stuff? So we're going to get into this now. One thing that disappointed me about the new Safari with extensions on devices, I thought it might do its best to try and sync my extensions from the desktop to a device. Nah. Which was like, it was one of those that sounded like a great thing on the surface, right? Typical kind of Apple, sounded awesome. In reality, not working out that way. Coco Type likes the new Safari. Okay, so we've got someone out there that likes it. Tell us why you like it. And then let's see. Josh here says, I gave up on desktop Safari because websites I need for work won't load for it. Yeah, that's going to be a problem then, right? Say I'm using Brave, which if you don't know what Brave is, it's Chrome without all the tracking. It's the best way I can describe it. What I like about Brave is I can have, on Firefox, you have these containers. You can log into the same website with multiple accounts and put each one in a container and isolate it. You can do the same thing in Brave with profiles. Anyway, that's what I'm doing. But let's, So what's Coco Type? See, I like the new bottom bar on iPhone and the color integration on iPad. Extensions everywhere, tab groups, etc. I guess it's just not warming me up. I'm finding it too annoying. The URL bar on the bottom on the iPhone is nice and convenient. But I rarely use, I know this is going to sound weird, rarely use a web browser that much on my iPhone. It's always on my iPad. And I just absolutely detest the new tab. I got nothing against the new tab system, but they need to make it not look like your URL bar before my brain is going to accept it. So that's where we're at. All right, let's look at these tests. So I got a couple of tests that I've written here before. This one, for example, works through the onboarding screens. Let's see if we can get this to work. I've done it on my device, have not tried it on the simulator. So let's give this, everything passed on my device. You're just going to have to trust me on that. Let's see if they pass on the simulator, because I have had some weird quirks between stuff doing UI tests on the simulator and doing them on a device. In my opinion, device is always better for everything when it comes down to it. Geez. Okay. Because I just don't trust simulators to really give me a real world picture when it comes down to, especially testing for shipping stuff. So let's see, Coco Type. I switched back to the compact mode, so it is the URL bar. Oh, I should try that. Didn't think to try it. I always like to try and embrace the new stuff as it is. but maybe I should try that. I'll give it a go. All right, let me get rid of these here because it's failing right now because I've run this test before. And I don't have the setup here to remove the flag for the onboarding. So let's give this another go. Because this, you may recall the onboarding screens you're only going to see them once. So once you've swiped through them, it's probably not going to work the second time. So let's see how this goes. All right, look at this, no hands. Okay, there you go, and it passed. Great. So now let's this test. That one I wrote by hand, and this one I recorded automatically. Oh, it's a nightmare. Because you may recall me saying before about how it doesn't always record keystrokes from an external keyboard, and I had to do it on screen, and then I had a bunch of lag, terrible lag between my device and my machine for reasons that I could not figure out. So let's see how this one goes. So this one should add a new preset, and it didn't. And I think I hit this before on the simulator, but not on my device, and it didn't make any sense. I'm trying to do the healthy thing with some V8 this evening. What it should do is hit the little plus up in the corner. What I'm going to do, just to make sure there's nothing weird here, because I can't remember if I fixed this test on my Monterey beta and didn't upload it to my Git repository, or if I have it on this machine here, which is Big Sur. So let's run it here. I've got my device right here just to prove it. See, there's my device. Let's see what happens. So I'm running the latest beta of Big Sur on an external drive. It's not what I'm running here right now, because I'm starting doing what I would call my final testing as to whether or not I'll be upgrading when it first comes out. At the moment, I'm thinking no, because some of my audio capture stuff is a little flaky, as it always is when the Mac OS is coming out. Okay, so you can see it's running here, right? The test is going to fail because what it's actually going to try and do is run the first test here. So we're going to, if this works, I'll bring the screen up on, replace it with my simulator here, but you'll see it. By the way, check out the fancy case. You want some swag? CompileSwift.com case for my iPhone. All right. Automation test running. Hold both volume buttons to stop. That's new. I haven't seen that before. All right. That's interesting. I had not seen that before, right? So you can see it doing its thing there through to the screen and past. Now, that's cool. So let's run this one. Everyone's looking, probably going like, what the hell are those icons on his screen? Come on. That's really interesting, that automation test running. I've never seen that before. It must be new. So it should hit the plus, but it's not. Okay, great. Well, not great, but what I mean is great. We've got a problem with the test. It is the version that didn't work. So we're now going to go ahead and fix that. And what we're going to do is, first of all, let me get rid of the simulator here. And let me think, how am I going to do this? I will use Quicktime to show my screen here. If none of you, by the way, if you've not seen this before, this is a great trick. I do this all the time when I'm demoing for people and running through stuff with other folks. If you want to share your screen and you do it on an iOS device, you can go New Movie Recording here and just select. You'll see your devices listed here, a whole bunch of devices, right? But I can select my iPhone that you see right there, okay? So now let's bring that over here. So you're actually seeing my iPhone screen live, right? So before I go any further, I'm going to make sure, where is it? Okay, I'm going to make sure, yeah, we're on the Wi-Fi, blah, 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 blah. All right, cool. And I'm just trying to remember here. Okay, what I'm going to do is delete both the apps. Okay, great. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and play the first one again. This is going to go ahead and... Did I mess up? Yeah, I messed up here. So this will actually reinstall the app and run the first test, which is the onboarding screens. If it doesn't lose connection to the phone. Another weird thing. First time, every time I run it, up until now, it loses connection on the first run. No idea why. I got iOS 15 running on my iOS device here, by the way. Let's see. I shared that QuickTime trick with my company's technical support team so they can see customers' iPhones. Awesome. It's one of those things that it's like, that's very cool, right? Because it saves a whole bunch of extra software and everything else. So that's cool. See, and now they're probably thinking, wow, you know what? That Josh is a bit of an awesome genius, right? You should have charged them for it. You should have said, like, I'll show you how to do this, but it's going to cost you $50 per head, per license, per device. You'd have made a fortune. Works for Apple. Well, considering I've used this device before, well, I did update to iOS, 15.01. So I don't know what it's installing now. Certainly isn't doing anything on the device. Yeah. Pretty sure that's what it is. Let's have a look. 15.01, yeah. They pay me pretty well. Oh, well, we need to come work where you're working because we're all in the wrong job. Certainly I'm in the wrong job. Whatever, you see, it's the wrong answer as a developer and engineer. Whatever you're paid, the answer is always, well, it should be more. Unless you own the company. Do you own the company, Josh? All right, hang on. Let's cancel that run. What's it doing over here? It's still making it... Oh, it's probably making my watch ready now as well, right? Come on. Yes, making my watch ready now. I knew there's always a catch, right? Should always run these darn things before you go live. Hey, it's a weekend stream. We're supposed to have fun and problems. FX Preset Manager Watch OS app when? Well, that's the funny thing. There isn't one. So it's, I guess if Xcode feels it's got to download symbols and shit, right? Before it'll, like, no, to run on the device with a watch connected to it, it wants to make sure it knows about both, even though there is not even the slightest trace of anything for a watch. And you know what though, you could, I mean, it would make sense. You could do it as a watch app, right? Add in the field. It's kind of the whole point, but never even occurred to me. I guess because watch apps are just they're such an afterthought for me. I got third-party apps on my watch. Rarely do I ever use them. I know there isn't one. I'm asking when you're planning on correcting that. Normally, I would say, well, after I've shipped the iOS one, but then that puts the pressure on to ship the iOS, right? Because as we all know, at this point, there really isn't a reason I couldn't ship it, other than I'm just delaying tactics, right? I don't have to do a web page and everything for it, other than the privacy one, but I just feel like I should. and that's why I haven't shipped it yet. Oh, come on, this is crazy. Let's make sure my watch isn't waiting for something. Nope. The app I use the most of what I've made is my WatchOS app that I never actually shipped to the store. You know, it's funny at this point, there's a few apps I've written that I'm using, not on the watch, that I no intention of shipping to anybody, but because they wouldn't be usable really or useful, maybe in their current form. But I'm now definitely in that mindset of if I need something, I'll write an app for it, right? But I don't know about the Apple Watch. I mean, I've had a few versions of it. This one is the first one that had the corner widgets, whichever version that was. Not the current one, not the one before that, probably the one before that. And every time I'm like, do I even need this? And then, you know, the notifications, and for me, I don't know about anybody else, but unlocking stuff and like various two-factor auth codes and everything else is what I use my watch for. I got a third-party apps on there, other than maybe the Overcast one to start and stop podcasts. I don't think I use it for anything else at all. It is such a weird device that I don't know. It fills such a unique spot for me, but the problem is the spot that it fills, like unlocking my Mac and that, is pretty useful. Oh, geez, this is taking forever. Come on. S4, Series 4 was the first with the corners. Okay, so it's a 4. That'll make sense because I had a 1, a 2, and then, missed one, the 4. That's where I'm at. I mean, I don't know. It's just a weird nichey device that fills an exact spot that I need, but feels like it's just okay, but I could use my phone for it, you know. But I just hate carrying a phone everywhere, especially when I'm at home all the time. And if I'm going from room to room for any amount of time, I take my iPad with me. Weird, I know. Oh, come on, Xcode. Jeez. What is my iPhone doing? Let's see. Coco Type says the third-party WatchOS WatchOS apps I use are my weird one. Grocery by Conrad Stoll and the Castro app for controlling podcasts. You know, it's funny. I have the pay, you know, whatever you call it, the subscription version of Castro, and really like it on the iPhone. Have never tried it on the watch. Maybe I should. I'm toggling between 3 at the moment, and you probably saw them on the device. Castro, Overcast is always my go-to, and then Podyssey because I just love the community aspect of Podyssey. But I should try Castro on the watch. I did cause myself pain again the other day because I tried the Apple's podcast apps in iOS 15 because I really want it to work, but that darn syncing is the worst. You know, it's funny, like I have OmniFocus and things for my tasks apps, and I don't even use those on the watch, and yet no reason I shouldn't. They work perfectly well, and it's a good, you know, a tasking app or a listing app like a grocery thing and stuff like that. It's perfect for a watch, and yet it just does not enter my head to use them. I think, again, you know, you all know how much I hate on-screen keyboards, and it's bad enough on the phone that when I do the finger writing, whatever you want to call it, on Scribble, I think they can call it, on the watch, oh my gosh, you can't do anything serious with that, right? Someone on YouTube asked how many apps you've shipped. I think you maybe skipped that question. How many apps have you shipped, Coco Type? I guess the other answer to that question is, well, the question to the question, are you talking apps for day jobs or apps for personal? Because, right, a lot of people I know have both, and it's two very different answers. You can see Kiswell says, I wouldn't use Overcast because Armin uses an obscenity when describing Swift. He's not a big Swift fan, is he? Which is funny because then you have, he gets with David Smith, and of course David Smith with all his watch apps and, widgets for which he's, of course, Swift and that. And so it is funny. Two very opposing views, which makes it interesting. I just wish that and I know I've said this before, if Apple could get their damn syncing to work right with podcasts, the podcast app, as in keep accurate track of ones that I've played on one device and don't show them on the other devices and things like that, and make it update in real time-ish, I'd switch back in a heartbeat. But it's so awful. It'll randomly pull up, say that I've got unplayed episodes from like 2020, 2019, and it's ridiculous. And then it messes it up across all the devices. 3 shipped professional apps, 3 shipped personal apps from Josh. Well done. I have no shipped personal, well, no, that's not true. 1 shipped personal app, and I'm not going to say how many day job apps, but it's more than 3. And I've shipped Android as well. All right. What do you think? Think this will work this time? Holy crap, I think it's running. Okay. Let's go through. Start. Okay. Let's fix up this display here. Hold on. All right. Let's now do this. I'm going to delete this one completely. Here we go. We'll go back to nothing. Let's try this. So, put it in here. I'm going to hit record. And then, for those of you that don't know, why the shame? Not the shame, just very careful with some things related to day jobs. Let's put it that way. Going to hit record. And when I hit record, it'll start recording my actions. You'll see them on the display here on the phone. Hopefully, if it doesn't disconnect, which it usually does. Okay, great, it did. All right, I'm going to hit the plus. You can see it filling in the details. So far, it's going better than it did last time. By now, last time it had crashed. The description. And then again, I'm just going to put in some numbers. It's getting a little laggy already. Strong. And I don't know why it's so laggy. Like I'm hitting the T, and you can see me hitting the T, and it is not happening. I don't know what the hell's up with that. I don't know what the deal is, but I've been having this since Xcode 12. See, I'm hitting 2, nothing happening. Hitting the 0, nothing happening. so weirdly laggy. And it's not because I'm recording. I get this even all the time. I'm hitting the save button, as you can see, and just things go weird. I don't know what the deal is. I'm on a good connection here. The only thing I can guess is let's see, what's Coco type says, 5 day job apps, 12 or so personal apps. Nice. Nicholas says 3 personal not shipped SwiftUI apps. So, hey, cool. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if it's because I got the phone plugged into a hub. Maybe that's the deal. But you can see some of the problems that I've been having, right? So I'm going to clean this test up and we'll see if we can get it to run. I don't know what the deal is with all of this crap, extra crap that it keeps putting in. But I have had this problem for a while. If anyone knows what the hell's going on with that, let me know. My theory is maybe because I'm plugged into a hub. Well, I guess we'll test that theory in a minute. I'll pull some wires out and we'll see what happens. Just looking for doubles here and deleting those out at the moment. Okay, the rest of those I'm going to leave them as they are. All right, let's try running this and see what happens. Yeah, that's what I figured would happen. I've had this happen too. I don't know what the deal is. That's why I ended up, you know, writing some of these by hand, because things just got totally nuts. Let's put that in there. So much for the automated recording, right? I don't think this test is ever going to run. Why not just use type text instead of the software keyboard taps? I don't know. This is the way that Xcode records it. Doesn't make any sense to me at all. I don't know if the recording testing stuff is just completely broken in Xcode at the moment or what, but I had these problems with 12 as well. Yeah, the Xcode recorder is bad. At least it's running the test now. Yeah, see, it's gonna hate on a lot of this. Yay. At first I thought it was just this weird lagginess that I get from it, but now I'm not so sure. But let's try something here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this whole thing. And instead of going just on the off chance, it just occurred to me, like I say, instead of going through a USB hub and into the Mac Mini here, I'm going to go direct. So that's going to cause some problems here for a second as I pull a bunch of wires out. So while I'm doing that, just in case the world explodes, I'm just going to switch to a save screen and I will be right back. All right, a few wires later. Okay, so what I got now is I got the wire from the phone going straight into the one of the USB-C ports on the Mac Mini. That's about as good as a connection as you're ever going to get via a wire. So let's try this again. Okay, yep, because I unplugged it. That's fair. That's on me. Really? Making it ready for... It was already ready for development. So I got to go through all this again just because I unplugged one wire and plugged it into a different socket. That's what you get for plugging your Apple Watch into a different USB-C port. It's not the Apple Watch, it's just a phone. I wish I could tell Xcode, like, look, the watch has nothing to do with this. Come on. Yeah, I don't know why Xcode does this the way it does it, and it doesn't use things like, you know, type text and stuff like that. I mean, you would think that it would want to do things the most streamlined way possible, right? But no. I was really thinking just, excuse me, some weird 12 thing and it'd be fixed in 13, but no, it's exactly the same for me. Oh, come on. Jeez. All of it, look, literally, come on, Xcode. All I did was pull a plug out and plug it back in again. Think if I turned my watch off, it would make any difference? Probably not, right? This is so ridiculous. I really feel like the quality of Apple's software has gone downhill year after year after year. Once they started getting hooked on the fact that they were making money, and they're like, oh, we like the money a lot more than we like our quality assurance on software. I bet I'm going to have to quit Xcode. What do you think? Should we do it? Let it go. We're going to be sitting here for a very long time. I wouldn't mind if it was a little informative and we actually knew what it was doing, but if you had already made my Apple Watch ready for development, why are you now making my Apple Watch ready for development? Someone please explain this. The betas run better than the final release of Xcode. You know, it's funny you say that, actually, Nicholas, because I had pretty good experiences with the Xcode betas and release candidates. And yeah, when I installed the final version of 13, I have had problems I did not have with the previous version, with the pre-releases. Same with iPad OS 15. The pre-release versions were pretty good to me for the most part, but I've had more problems with the final release than I ever had with the pre-release ones. At the rate we're going here, I may not get the test done in this stream at all. This is ridiculous. And I guess I'll just have to make it up in another one. All right, you know what? My patience is not going to take it. I'm just going to restart Xcode. You never know. Might make a difference. See? Someone explain this craziness. Good Lord, it doesn't make any difference what we do in this world, does it? All right, let's run this test. Okay, it's going to foul because I've already done that task. Don't care, that's fine. Let's see if we get a better recording this time. What do you think? And I'm going to give it a couple of seconds here to get itself organized. Not that it probably will make any darn difference. All right, hit the plus. I lost recording connection with device as soon as I hit the plus. Oh, good Lord. Apple, Apple, Apple. Hit the plus. Got it this time, but notice there's nothing yet as far as recording anything that I've done here. All right. Preset. Again, it does not like me hitting the R. Look, I'm hitting the R. Nothing. What the hell, Apple? Trying to hit -3. Nope. -3 on that one. Yes. I mean, it's almost a joke at this point. +1. No. Oh, Lord. Didn't take the S, took the R this time. Let's do 5600. Nope, can't do that, but I can do a 5000. I mean, I'm glad other people are seeing this happen, because if I was trying to tell someone, no one would believe me. And we've lost the timestamp, so it stopped. What do you, I mean, Apple, seriously. Look, it's your iPhone on your cable into your Mac with your software. If I was doing some weird thing, I'd be like, okay, I get it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to stop. I'm going to kill off everything back here. Okay. I'm now going to run it again. Chat wants to know you're a Vim user. Hang on a minute. Why is I got the YouTube chat here. Why is it not coming up? I do use Vim on the console. Yes. Thank you, Coco Type. Why is that not coming up? I've got my YouTube here. Give me 1 second. Let me pull that up again. YouTube watchers, I am sorry. I don't know why my chat for YouTube is not updating. And I didn't finish the stream. What? What? Anybody having one of those days? Really? Yes, but I do use Vim in the terminal because I used VI a lot on Linux, and it's just force of habit. There's no, you know, preferential reason for why I'm doing it. Oh Lord, I can't find the chat now. It's just I'm used to doing it that way, and my brain just types Vim or VI before I've even thought about it. Okay, show me, please. Show me my chat. Oh, good Lord, all this chat, I missed it. I am so sorry, folks. Let me catch up here. Josh is there as well. Oh, you see, Josh, you're jumping between the two. How many apps have you shipped? Oh, okay, now I see where the questions are coming from. Okay, Anthony, is it Anthony Jane? Shortest amount of time it's taken for you to create a full app, and the longest. Shortest amount of time. Good Lord. Beginning to end. If you're talking a shipping product, I did one in 2 weeks because it was very simple. Longest one would be the ones I'm still working on. But they're out there, but they're getting constant patches. But I would say, I remember complex one took about 5 months, which we've had a whole bunch of live integrations and stuff like that. Are you a Vim user? So I answered that one. Clean the build folder. I actually clean the build folder quite a lot. Anytime I have something weird start to happen with Xcode, so every day, yeah, I clean the build folder. Yeah. So sorry. Yeah, let me pop this out. I had this open, but it was not updating. I don't know what the deal was there, but there it is. It's back. Coco type, thank you for bringing that to my attention. Appreciate it. Let me just put that there. Hopefully it's going to keep updating live now. All right. What do you think? Should we try this test again? I mean, I've killed off QuickTime just in case. So I got the screen. I'm going to try and do exactly the same thing, right? Lost connection as soon as I touch the screen. Hit the plus. Nope. This is just insane. And you know what? I found that if I don't use the wire and I do it over, you know, just a local connection, exactly the same result. All right, plus. Nope. Okay, I wasn't on the home screen of the app when it started recording. It's so incredibly infuriating. Here I am using all the latest software, all the latest hardware from Apple, and their shit just does not work. All right, I'm going to hit the plus in the middle this time. Okay, M, Y, space, P. What do you think? Is it going to, it didn't capture the P. P's not showing on the screen. Neither the R is there. It's very laggy, and I lost the connection. If anyone has any clue or any ideas as to why this is so shit, other than Apple, I'd love to know, because this causes me such a stupid amount of trouble. And, you know, the whole point of this is so that you don't have to write the thing manually. That's the thing. I don't want to have to write these tests manually. Apple gave us the ability, well, they said they did, to record these things automatically, yet it does clearly not work. And I don't recall it being this bad in like 11, Xcode 11. What about all of you out there? Do you do these things automatically, record them this way, or do you just write them all by hand? Just curious. Let me know in the chat. What about all of you? Who of everyone watching and listening out there? How many of you use Vim? Are you Vim users? VI? What do you do? Nano? Tell you what I do a lot now is I use Nova by Panic for writing a lot of stuff, and that has a built-in terminal, and then I use it in there. And I use Z shell, but I actually have on top of that the Oh My Z shell, right? I think that's how you pronounce it. I have that on top of there, and a couple of plugins to make things useful. Problem is, it has a lot. I have a lot of aliases from a plugin for Git and that, and I don't remember half of them. Oh, Emacs for life, huh? You just don't do UI testing. Yeah, about that. Don't do UI testing at all. Interesting. What? Okay. Does someone else do it for your apps, or you just don't feel it's necessary? I'm just curious. Unit testing, right? I mean, I know you must surely write unit tests. Emacs. I'm trying to think. Couldn't even tell you the last time I used it. Maybe way back in Linux, in the early days. Unit tests. Yeah, okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think if you do good unit tests, you're at least half the way there, right? But I guess for me, it's this thing of, look, I'm given these tools to use, and so I want to use them, right? And because part of the way for me to learn writing a UI test is to record it, see what it does, and understand, oh, okay, if I use that piece of code, that's what that does, right? But that requires it to work. Hey, I need to just do something here quickly. I'm gonna need to grab another drink. I will be right back, folks. Just talk amongst yourselves. All right, I am back with some water this time. All right, let's see. What did I miss here? Nicholas's tests kill me in my everyday using quick and nimble. You know, I recently had to start learning to write tests for a React Native app using Jest, and I don't know if it's because I'd spent time learning it with iOS platforms, platform, but it made it a lot easier for me to get started with Jest. But tests is something that I think You know, I'm so thankful that on my team I have dedicated testers because it takes up so much time and they're so good at it. I will never be as good at it as they are. Not even going to try. But I do feel compelled to go more of that approach of writing the tests, even though they are a pain. Coco Type says, I'm hoping SourceKit LSP just gets good enough to let me do SwiftDev and Emacs as well. Then we can give up on Xcode entirely. I used for a while, I had the full, whatever you want to call it, the full JetBrains toolkit access to everything license. And I did try their, app code, I think it was called. Their one for writing Swift and that. And I liked it. And it was pretty good. I guess I'm just so used to like, oh, okay, here's all the stuff there in Xcode that I just use Xcode. But again, I think that's more out of habit than anything. Depending on what you're doing. Like if you're doing this testing stuff, it's a freaking nightmare. But there are some other things that Xcode just does well. Sometimes. But I think, like I always say to everybody, you know, it's important that you know what you're writing regardless of the tool you're using to do it. And if you have a tool that automates some of the stuff or does it for you and you then learn from that, that's fine. If you're good enough to know to be able to just write it using other tools without some of the fancy fill-in stuff, syntax and so on that Xcode gives you, even better, because it means you know the platform even better than trusting the tool. Appcode, yeah, well, Appcode's great. It just lagged too often. If it's better now. I think the problem with, and this is not, you know, subjective, I guess it is what it is. It's not JetBrains' fault. My problem with the JetBrains tools in general, especially like with Appcode and that, is, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they still use Java, right? To run the tools. And the more I use them, I find that I have to sort of restart them. They get a bit slow and laggy, and I don't know what the reason is for that. I don't know if it's because it's written on Java still or what the reason is, but I do have to restart them every so often. I go through phases where I love using them because I use, like when I was writing Unity apps, I would use Rider, another JetBrains tool, to write the C# stuff for that. Again, you know, it's kind of with the JetBrains tools. You learn one app, you kind of learn the others by extension, right? Which is always a win and always great. But I just keep coming back to Xcode because it's there. And I'll be honest, and whilst I've got some problems with my CI/CD stuff, it's just easier to do with the code signing and everything else in Xcode still at the moment until I fix up the CI/CD. Lagged, not having the latest features and UI lagginess. Yeah, UI is a bit laggy, and they are always. I feel like they're getting better at not being behind the curve, but they are always a couple. You know, you have to wait a while for those releases to come along to support the latest point release for Swift and that, which of course is what matters to me, right? I'm tempted to just abandon all hope on this testing here because it is not going well. But I'm going to give this one more go. Hit the plus. See, this time I got the plus. Go figure, right? I don't know. I'm going to take it real slow. Let's try that. Okay. MY space. So it's got the space there. Space has not happened on the screen of the device, just so you know. P R E S E T. So that worked. Didn't get the space though. Tapping on the description. Well, it recorded it sort of there, but it's not actually happened on the app. Now it's happened on the app. Description. Oh, I'm just going to see. Didn't capture the R. Oh, jeez. I'm going to leave everything else as is. and hit save. And yep, it's not what still. I wonder if it's because it is trying to pass this shit in real time. I don't know. It's baked in with this. Have such hope for the source kit LSP. It's baked in with Swift toolchain, so you get all the latest for free with code updates. Yeah, it's true. That maybe is something I should look at. Okay, so this is just generally shit is what's happening here, right? Look, you can see so many repeat. I don't know. Apple, you got to fix this shit or take it out completely. I don't know. Let's see if I can strip this back to at least something usable and run it. It's not usable because it's not a full test, but here's a weird thing too. You know, you were saying about the text. Sometimes I've seen it where I've tapped it multiple times and it'll do it one way, it'll do it this way. Another way, it'll do it with the text. It's just so random. And then you got like stuff like this, right? And I mean, I guess I could put it in the setup, I guess, but I don't think it's going to help. I'll put it there. Don't you love all this circular logic? You got to wonder, like, what is Xcode thinking when it does this shit? Right? Okay, let's try running it. Okay, I see it running on the device. Interesting, funny thing is, on the playback here, it did put the space in. So far, so good. Slowly scrolling. And then, did it hit the save? Oh, it hit the save, but it didn't do it. Crazy. Oh, because we got to here. What's this swipe right? I mean, I didn't do a swipe right that I recall. Okay, did it do it this time? Nope. I don't think that's going to do anything. Got to swipe up. I don't have a swipe right, but I do have a swipe up. Oh, you got to see this. I don't know if you can see it, but now the automation running is way down here in a random position. Lord, Apple, what do you like? Okay, it ran the test and it did create the preset this time. So what I could do is I could take this and use this to now manually write the test and use this as my guide. Stupid that I have to do that, in my opinion, but there you go. Now this last one here, that preset that I created above, it actually does run that to create the preset, and then it deletes it from the list. Well, because I've already got that, I'm going to just run this here. And it should just find the first item on the list, do a swipe to the left to delete it. We'll see if it does it. Oh, and now the automation running note is just way over there on the screen. Just you know. And it didn't do it. So this test has always worked before. You know what, folks? I gotta be honest. I love spending company with you all, but at this point, I'm so frustrated with this. I'm tempted to just up and quit it for the day and go play a game before I go to bed because this is driving me nuts. It's bad enough that I'm going to have to deal with this tomorrow in the day job. And that'll be with Xcode 12. In fact, what I might do is I have an older device, and this is going to sound weird. I have an older device. I'm going to try it with an older device on an Intel Mac. See if it makes any difference. I'm very curious now. So I will let you know. Okay, you know what? Sorry folks, I'm gonna quit it there for today because this is just driving me nuts. And I need to chill a bit before I start my Monday. So I'm gonna go play me a game for a bit. But I think what I'm gonna do is gonna pick this up again. I'm gonna try to do a stream in the week this week as well to sort of make up for the time that I haven't been around. And to make up for this one that's really frustrating, not through any fault of ours, but I think what I'm going to do, read a bit about writing manual tests during the week, and I'm going to go back and we'll do this manually. More painstaking, but theoretically, if that's completely accurate and we don't have to rely on the stupid recording system in Xcode, we should have a better day of it. So I think we'll leave it there for now. Short version for this, if there's a caption for this one, is Xcode UI test recording is a joke. It's terrible. It doesn't matter what you do. All right, folks, have a good one. I will catch up with you in the week sometime. There'll be a new podcast episode going out as well. So make sure you catch that. And that is it. I'll see you in the week. Have a good Monday, everyone. And I'll see you later. Bye-bye.